What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Deus Ex. After escaping from the Brooklyn Naval Shipyard, we need to go back to Ex-11-Dowd at his family cemetery. He has a hideout here, and then we'll give him the ambrosia vial we found, and then he'll give us more intel about Majestic 12 and whatnot, particularly how Grey Death contains some kind of thingy that another Illuminati member, Morgan Everett, formulated. Anyways, this guy that opened the gate, knock him out. Just kneel before his ass, and then aim above his head and whack with the baton. What we're doing, we're basically prematurely completing an objective where there's like some kind of like EMP thing that's going to prevent Jock from landing in the graveyard. We're basically going to destroy it ahead of time to make our life easier. So, yeah, knock the guy out, use a multi-tool to bypass the keypad, and then throw a lamb throw a lamb in grenade form to destroy the thing. And then, yeah, that unconscious gatekeeper should be fine. But just to make sure he doesn't die, just drop his body somewhere where he's out of the blast radius. Down here is where Dowd is. But before we talk to him, let's raid the area. Lockpick in there. And then there's a few things you can get inside these tombs, but there's one in particular we want to open and have this little crate in front of, because it's going to be part of our exit strategy. There's a lamb in this one, and an EMP grenade. And then, yeah, I don't think this next tomb has anything in it that we want, if I remember correctly, but you know, I'm always checking it. Yeah, nothing we want. This is the one where you want to throw the steel box and then open in preparation for our escape. And then there's a multi-tool. And then, behind here is a safe, and we're going to want to lockpick it because there's an upgrade canister in there, and we want it. Because we currently have the spy drone AUG at tier 2, and we have to get it to tier 4 before we get to Vandenberg. So the canister we just took is going to go on the spy drone so we can get it to tier 3. And then we just need one more upgrade canister for it. We've got everything we need, so let's talk to Dowd and let's get things going.
Strange.
Now, if you did this the conventional way, as I mentioned, Jock wouldn't be able to land in the courtyard, and you would have had to go back to that little gatehouse and destroy that hidden, like, disruptor or whatever it is.
I have some good news.
And then Jock lands. But since we destroyed it prematurely, he's going to land immediately after the conversation ends.
We have them on the run.
And this escape is going to be much easier because after the conversation, MJ-12 troops are going to be swarming the graveyard. And to get by them stealthily, considering that there's almost no cover out there at all, we're going to have to turn ourselves into a literal... We're going to have to go into ghost mode to just run past them. You know, cloak, run silent, and then the power recirculator to so that it's more energy efficient.
We might be out of options.
But we're going to take a more covert route to get out, because that last tomb I opened that I put the steel box in front of, it's actually a passageway, and then we're going to use the passageway, and then it's going to lead to a hatch in the ground somewhere in the cemetery, and then we'll turn all of our ghost augs on and then run to Jock. And just so that I'm explaining exactly what I'm doing, I mentioned before that make sure in the game settings that the action to disable all augs is binded, preferably to minus, because I have activate all augs binded to equals, and then deactivate all augs binded to minus. Activating
So we should
all
find Nicolette and
augs
Claire
is not
first.
very useful, but
Yes.
deactivating
Everett
all
close to being
is,
Claire's.
considering,
My suggestion, too.
you know, our ghost
Unfortunately,
mode
I've lost touch
that
with
we
the Paris
use.
crowd.
Anyways,
Find Nicolette. She's a member of
what
the
you'll
French
do is that
terrorist
as
group
soon as you
Silhouette
reach
last I
Jock,
heard.
where you can talk to him, just hit your
they're rumored to
minus
meet
or
in
whatever
Paris
key you
Catacombs.
binded that to,
Great. I'll have
to
Jack
turn your
drive
augs
me out
off,
to
and then you'll,
give
and then
you what I have on
mid-conversation,
Nicolette.
what's technically going to
It's not
happen,
much.
the troopers are
Just
technically
a
going to
few
detect
snapshots
you,
of the Catacombs
and
area.
then
Thanks. I'm sure they will be
they'll basically be frozen pointing their guns at you mid-conversation because they cannot attack you mid-conversation. But as soon as the conversation ends, the the fly away cutscene is going to immediately happen. Take that, lockpick. But the soldiers, even if they do fire off a few shots, which here I think they did, we're going to literally disappear, and then they'll just go back to neutral. It's kind of cheesy. It's definitely a big cheese of stealth, I guess you could call it, but hey, it's why I love this game. Anyways, let's get the ghost dogs on, including the power recirculator. Run to Jock. I'd recommend being on this side of the chopper. Get your augs off and then talk to
ready to
him.
head out. Dowd needs to contact his associate in Paris.
Everett, right? The leader of the Illuminati.
Now,
He's not an easy
I
man to
would
find.
say leave your augs on mid-conversation, but the problem is your energy drain, your bioenergy will still drain mid-conversation, you know, in real time. So you're better off just turning them off beforehand because they can't attack you mid-conversation. And as soon as the conversation's over, the extraction cutscene begins, and then you'll be gone, and they'll go back to neutral before they could even hurt you. Now, leaving the augs on mid-conversation is actually a useful trick in Invisible War, as you'll see whenever I do my videos on that game. But anyways, let's get back to the task at hand. We're now in Paris, and we need to track down another former Illuminati member, Morgan Everett. Well, first we need to find Nicolette Duclair, so that she can help us find Everett. Lockpick your way into this shed, and then that book contains the keypad code to this elevator, so that we can take it down. So the first thing we're doing, we need to find Nicolette. There's there's like a rebel group in Paris called Silhouette. We're going to be locating them in the Paris catacombs, and we're going to help out the leader, Chad, and then he'll tell us where we can find Nicolette.
What's wrong?
So first things first, we're going to go talk to this woman. She's going to give us another keypad code. Although, it's a pretty easy code to figure out yourself. 0001, as she says it. But anyways,
Contamination and mute.
this is how you learn the code without having to, like, I don't know, look it up yourself or figure it out yourself, considering it's probably the easiest code in the game to figure out yourself. Anyways, she's technically going to give us a secondary goal to eliminate 4 greasels that are down in the contaminated area, but we're not going to do that. I don't think the reward for doing it is particularly good anyway. I love how she says, "Horrible, horrible." That is such a great French accent. Anyways, while we're here, let's do some looting. We got a biocell on one of those shelves, and then we got I think it was a lockpick up there. We always want that stuff. That's the good stuff. Anyways, let's head down to the contaminated area. I believe this is the first time in the whole game that we're going to use the environmental resistance aug. But we're going to use it in combination with a hazmat suit because the aug is at tier 1, so it doesn't really work that well. But if you pair it with a hazmat suit, it'll help at least. That's why we hoard hazmat suits. since we're not really able to upgrade environmental resistance, at least until the end of the game. So using it with hazmat suits to get through toxic environments is how we do things. So 0001, like she said, put the hazmat suit on, and then your environmental resistance aug as well. And you might as well turn the recirculator on too, so that you're saving some energy, as much as you can at least. Once you're here, you can cut it off, and then you can recharge your... you can use regenerate. While you still have some bioenergy, turn on regeneration to heal any damage, so that we can just quickly heal any damage that we took. And then the repair bot right here is going to recharge us. If you're willing to wait a minute, you can use the repair bot again to get back to 100%, but I didn't feel like waiting, so I just kept on trucking. So down here is where those greasels are. You know, the little green slime spitting monster things. And this is where we're very abruptly introduced to Icarus, the rival AI to Daedalus. Anyways, just carefully avoid these greasels and take that lockpick in the process. If you need to turn your cloak on or your run silent, like in this situation, by all means do so that you don't have to worry about them seeing you. Because you do not want to get detected by greasels, because, like I said, they spit acid, and once they get acid on you, you'll just keep taking damage, and I'm pretty certain the only way to stop the damage is to either put on a hazmat suit or the environmental resistance aug. But since we don't have that aug upgraded, I don't think it would work that well anyway. Once we get to street level, we want to go into this metro station because we still have that aug canister from the super freighter, and we need to install the radar transparency aug from it. But we need to go this way to avoid some troopers that are down here. So we're going to have to lockpick this vent hatch. And then while we're in here, we can use a security panel to disable the cameras that are in here. And there's a multi-tool that we just took. So here's the panel. Let's go ahead and hack it. I think it's just one camera, but still, you might as well turn it off because it's in front of some ATMs and we're going to be robbing one of those ATMs anyway. Just one of them because one has money, the other one does not have money. Here's the medbot. If you need to heal anything, now's the chance. But what you really want to do is install radar transparency from that... The cat's feeder went off. From the augmentation canister we found on the super freighter. So we are now officially fully augmented. We have both of the cloak types. We have the spy drone. We have the spy drone in our cranial. Well, we have both of the cloaks in our subdermal, the spy drone in our cranial, combat strength in our arms, rob the ATM because we want some free money, vision enhancement in our eyes even though we're never going to use it, and then our torso slots have regeneration, environmental resistance, and power recirculator. Then, of course, there's our integrated LED, but we have that by default. Anyways, let's exit the station and get across the street. Watch out for the commandos guarding the street. There's one over here, but if he's coming towards us, you'll need to turn your cloak on just so that he can walk past you. Which is exactly what happened here. So yeah, cloak. You can get it off as soon as you're behind them. So we want to get into this building that's over here. We just need to smash the boards blocking the window here. You can use either the dragon's tooth or the baton. It doesn't matter which. Our low-tech weapon skill is advanced, so our melee attacks are pretty damn strong, especially with combat strength active. So anyways, down to the catacombs we go. The catacombs is going to be kind of tricky because once we find Silhouette's hideout, Chad is going to ask us to rescue 2 of his members that got captured by Majestic 12. And in order to... This is going to be very similar to rescuing Forge Schick from the Hell's Kitchen sewer, you know, for Smuggler, where we absolutely have to knock out everybody along the path because the troopers will aggro at the hostages as we try to rescue them. So we gotta take out everybody along the path. First, we need to get to the hideout. We can just ghost our way through this first part getting to the hideout, but the path to the bunker, or Bunker 3, where the hostages are, that's when we need to start clearing the path. So, first we'll work our way there, just slipping by everybody. The first enemy we need to knock out is a commando that's guarding. He's basically patrolling the area right next to the hideout entrance, and if you do not take him out, there's an extremely high risk that he's going to somehow find the hideout entrance and then start slaughtering the people inside. And that's kind of a problem. So we need to knock out the commando, and here is... This is one of the first, or possibly the first time where I'm going to be showing the true primary use of the combat strength augmentation, which was the first aug that we got in the whole game, and it's not until now where it's really going to come in handy. Equip the prod, and then turn on your combat strength, and then you're going to do the same exact knockout trick we've been doing the whole game, so that you can knock out the commando with one zap from the prod. You have to use the prod because the baton is not powerful, because doing it with the baton won't work, or at the very least, it won't work until you have until your low-tech skill is at master, or combat strength is upgraded higher.
Make sure they don't follow you.
So you may have noticed after I clicked on a brick on the wall that opened the hideout door. Go ahead and talk to the kid.
Where?
Man, these French accents are just amazing, aren't they? He's going to allude to the hostages we need to rescue, but we need to talk to Chad because the area to the bunkers has a locked blast door, and he's going to give us the key to open it so that we can start heading that way.
Denton. Yes, the satellite transmission.
So basically, in exchange for rescuing these hostages, Chad will give us intel on Nicolette Duclair and where to find her.
The troopers moved into the crypts.
As far as I know, if you do not rescue these hostages, you either A, you'll have to find the key to the catacombs exit yourself,
In exchange for a small favor.
and then find Nicolette yourself without any real clues.
What do you want with Nicolette?
Or if you try to rescue the hostages and fail, then
Nicolette is very secretive about
I forgot whether Chad still helps you the same amount or if he helps you less. I just don't remember off the top of my head. But regardless, the secondary goal of rescuing these hostages, we are going to truly complete it properly, which will unfortunately require us to knock out everybody along the path.
My people back and I will put you in touch with Nicolette.
So it's going to be very similar to rescuing Forge Schick from the rescuing Smuggler's friend from the Hell's Kitchen sewers,
We can't let them
as well as rescuing somebody else later in the game. Hit the brick to close the hideout door. I'm pretty certain there's no threat now, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. The key Chad gave us will open this blast door, and first we've got a commando guarding over here. So we are once again going to do the commando knockout trick with... And like I said, it's the same, for the most part, it's the same knockout trick we've always been doing, where you crouch on their, you like kneel before their ass, aim above their head, and then do the knockout. But instead of the baton, it's the prod, and you have to have the combat strength active in order for the attack to be strong enough to work with one hit. Every time you knock out commandos, absolutely search their bodies, because they usually always have biocells on them, which is very, very nice. So that's one advantage to clearing this area, is that we're knocking out a lot of commandos, and they pretty much all have biocells on them. Hiding the body or moving it is really not necessary. I just did it because. So let's keep on going. Of course, when we encounter regular troopers, we don't need the combat strength or anything like that. We just need the baton, and then the aim above the crouch and aim above the head trick. The prod and combat strength is strictly for the tougher enemies. Not just those commandos, but also the cyborg agents, which we're going to be I believe we're going to be encountering our first cyborg agent here at Bunker 3. Basically, it's going to be the same as the commando knockout trick, but with the cyborg agents, it's harder to do because sometimes you have to stun them twice with the prod. One time doesn't always work, and you have to be really careful when in close proximity with others, because I'm not sure if a knockout with the prod alerts people, but doing a stun with the prod does, as you'll see later on, because that happens to me a couple of times. Yeah, this guy needs to be going this way so that we can knock him out without drawing the attention of the other guy that's here. Get yourself a lockpick and another lockpick in the process. So yeah, he's out. The other guy's over here by that like cross. So just be careful. There he is. Once you're able, get behind him and whack him out. And to avoid that laser grid that's right there, we're going to, there's a hole in the wall that we can use as a more covert path. It's annoying how you have to, drop everything. How you have to pick up items before you can pick up bodies, but it's just a quirk of the game. Anyways, now right here, in order to now there's going to be a tiny little drop. In order to drop down here without making noise, you have to have your run silent on. So let the commando walk by, turn on your run silent so that you can drop without footstep noise, and then get your combat strength on with the prod to take out the commando. Like so. And then, while we're here, we're going to take out the trooper that's over to the left. We're not going to take out the one to the right because there's another trooper that way that can see us. So we're going to have to ignore him for now and take him out later.
Got something. I'm doing a scan.
So yeah, be very careful here. If you drop stuff, then you can draw attention. Anyways, that commando that's here at the back, and then that one trooper that's off to the side, both have to be taken out. As I said, the one that's over here opposite the other one, don't take him out yet because of that guy. We'll get him later. So now we need to cut our way. We need to go all the way up to the front of the area where the cyborg agent is, as well as a desk that contains... There's a security terminal nearby where we can turn off all the cameras, and The desk has the key to the catacombs exit that's going to take us to the sewers below the local streets, which is going to be the next area. So we got to swim under here. If you have a rebreather, you can use it, but otherwise you'll just have to take a little bit of damage. But thankfully, most of the times when we have to swim, at least in my strategies, we end up taking some damage, but it will not be enough to kill us. So the idea here is to use combat strength and the prod, but you don't really want to do it while she's standing there, because there's a commando that kind of circles the area ahead, and he can hear you do this. Because like I said, I guess they make a lot, I guess if you stun someone with the prod, i.e. it doesn't end up, you hit them in a spot that doesn't knock them out immediately, it can make noise and draw attention, which happened to me twice, as you just saw. So the best thing to do is, well, you don't have to trail them the way I am, but with that cyborg agent, you're going to want her to go back into the corner of the area. Watch out for the camera, it almost saw me. But we have radar transparency now, so you can use it to cloak yourself from cameras. So yeah, that didn't work either. We want the cyborg agent in the black suit there. We want her to go back to the corner near the security panel on the wall, because knocking her out from that spot is the safest spot to take her out. The only way it's not safe is if the commando is like right behind us. So yeah, that worked. You may have to stun her twice, but as long as your combat strength is on, you should be fine. Plus, there's some prod chargers on the table to replenish your ammo for it, so no worries there. What I recommend doing is moving this crate to hide yourself behind as we hack the panel to get the cameras off. Like so. I guess the commando somehow perceived me, but
Something's in here.
if you're crouching behind this crate, that should give you at least some protection. Careful.
Halt. Please give your ID.
Okay, so he's out. Whoop. And then I screwed up because I meant to hit minus to turn my augs off, but I actually hit equals and turned them all on, as you saw. So I had to do this again. Take out the cyborg agent. And then just to make... Okay, that didn't work, but... Oh my god. I already quick save a lot, but I clearly need to do it even more than I do. Anyways, thankfully, the cyborg agent went down with one stun this time. This time I'm going to take out the commando before getting those cameras off, so that I don't have to worry about him. It's best to do it when he's over this way. Or, I guess you could do it when he's over the other way. Just watch out for the commando that's over there. Speaking of that commando, we're gonna go knock him out, as well as the remaining troopers that are over there, but we gotta get the cameras off first. Oh, and there's also a commando that's up in this upper area. We're gonna go take him out before we forget about him. I guess if there's anyone that you could get away without knocking out, it's this guy, since he is definitely really, really, really out of the way, but better safe than sorry. Plus, we can get a free biocell off of him, which is always good. Alright, so prod, combat strength, aim above the head. And then while this whole back area is clear, you can feel free to explore it and scrounge for some stuff. But the last thing you really need to do is hack the panel to get the cameras in the area off, and then take the key from the desk over there if you haven't done so already. That's the key that will get us out of the catacombs so that we can progress forward. So let's get back on track. And then, of course, it's been a while since I replenished my energy, so I ate a couple biocells, because we've got plenty of them right now. Multi-tool. Some prod chargers. There's the key I was talking about. And here's the security panel. We'll hack it. Turn off the cameras that are near the vault blast door, so that they're off as we knock out these last couple of troopers and whatnot. First, the commando. We'll do the commando knockout trick, as per usual. Here is definitive proof that NPCs do not react to unconscious or dead bodies. That trooper's been unconscious for a while, and that commando hasn't done jack shit about it. If you're gonna run up to this guy, make sure your run silent is on, which is exactly what I did. And now, all that's left are 2 troopers on the other side. Thankfully, the baton works for them, and you don't need the aug on. Just be careful, because one of them walks back and forth, and you don't want to get caught. And you definitely don't want him to turn around on you. So whack him, and then this is the last guy. Whack him. The area and the path back to the hideout is now 100% clear, so one of the keys we took, I'm pretty sure it's the one Chad gave us, is going to unlock that blast door. Now the hostages are going to run their way back to the hideout with no problems since we cleared the path for them. And yes, there's technically a laser grid, there's a laser grid right over here before entering the area, but conveniently, both of these hostages can just phase through the laser grid without setting it off. But since we can't do that, we're going to have to go back through that hole in the wall that we entered through in the first place. And while they're running back, you can take the opportunity to scrounge the area for some other stuff if you want, since there's no enemies left, so no worries there. That's the blast door to get out of the catacombs, but we're not going that way yet. We're going to rendezvous with Chad so he can give us the information on Nicolette that we want. So, yep. Basically, you just trail them back, and then we're going to make sure they make it back safely. That way the secondary goal is completed. The man should get there first, and then the woman should get there second. Once you're in, you can... Well, I guess you don't have to close the door since there's nobody around, but you can just to be safe. Anyways, that does it. They are safe.
I owe you my life.
So let's go talk to Chad.
Thank you for
As a
saving our
result
car.
of saving them so successfully,
I freed the hostages.
Chad will tell us to go
Wonderful.
to
Where are they?
the local
Both of them
nightclub.
made it to the hideout safely.
I
sure.
forgot how to pronounce it
Excellent.
off the top of my head. I
I
think it's
cannot
like
believe how good fortune.
Club.
Now, you wanted to
No, I won't try to pronounce
Yes.
it. I forgot off.
You might catch her in Club La
I'm
Porte
drawing a
there.
blank right now, and I'm gonna sound like
Ever
an
since your
ass
mother's
by
assassination,
botching
she
the
has been
pronunciation of it.
She goes out every night as though daring
Anyways.
the assassins to show their faces.
A silhouette hangout.
Among other things.
No,
But you can't get there at
no,
night.
I don't think
Roads are
Chad
blocked.
gives us the picture of
What about
Nicolette.
tunnels?
Dowd gave
Catacombs
us
do not go
that
that
back
far.
at the
You might
cemetery.
try the sewers though. They can be reached
Anyways.
through the rear blast door.
Is it locked?
This part's finally over.
Unfortunately, MJ-12
I'm gonna get us through the blast door that takes us
I already picked up
out of the
that key.
catacombs and into
Thanks again for the help.
the local sewers. So I'll remind you where that is. Oh, what Chad did tell us is that to get to the sewers, because the city's under martial law, so there's MJ-12 troops all over the streets, because if you listened to Tracer Tong earlier, he told us that Majestic 12 in France is a powerful enough organization to operate publicly. And they have the city under martial law because of Silhouette. So let me show you the blast door again. That key that we took off that table back where that cyborg lady was, that's the key that you want to take to open this door. We obviously already took it. So it'll unlock the door, and then we can move onwards. Next, we'll be exploring the streets to find Nicolette and the club, and then we'll be going to the Duclair Manor, or the Duclair Mansion, to contact Everett or whatnot. But here is where I call it. See you next time.